Hello. Thank you for joining me. So I've been having fun learning about like the UK's armed services, like the British Army and the Queen's Guard. And now I've got, let me just see. Okay, Albert sent in this video of the secret armed police, which immediately intrigued me because these guys already have rifles sitting between their legs as they're driving. They've just got rifles. Even as an American, this is an unusual sight. You know, the police usually don't have it just on the ready between their legs as they're driving. That's intense. So thank you, Albert, for sending in this video. And it says defending UK nukes. So I guess these police are literally driving around like wherever they hide their nukes. I don't know where the United States hides I don't know where they're all kept, you know, all these nukes. That's probably like people probably shouldn't know exactly where they are, but I don't know. Defending the nukes. And these guys are just driving around with rifles between their legs. And they've got like laser sights on their hats. No, I'm sure that's a camera. Let's watch.
Echo X-ray 18, Foxtrot Yankee Mike, stand by.
Are they pulling over the police? Holy crap! I mean, I'm an American, and this is still shocking to me. What the heck? That's how you're doing a traffic stop? Woo!
Oh, police, stay where you are! Don't move! Stay where you are! Stay where you are! Stay where you are! Keep your...
I think this is how Europeans think American police conduct a traffic stop.
Hands where I can see them. Do not move. Stay where you are.
They're not military police.
One of the best kept secrets, to be honest.
If you see a police car go by, you don't look at that closely at the badge on the door.
I don't think it's widely understood what the force actually does and what capabilities it has.
Put your hands on your head and look your
I don't want to know.
fingers.
The Ministry of Defence Police, or MDP, are a unique civilian police force.
The people who find out the powers these guys have don't live to tell the tale.
Providing policing and protection for people, key sites and assets for the MOD. The force consists of around 3,000 officers.
Ministry of Defence?
Spread across the country, protecting everything defence-related, from married quarters to nuclear submarines. For the national security of the United Kingdom, they are critical.
Damn.
Although it's not immediately obvious that these are not the regular police, there's one key difference.
Yeah, they drive around with rifles between their legs. That's how you know.
Carry firearms.
Before we start, any reason why you shouldn't be armed?
So the regular police don't even have firearms.
Morning.
No, all good.
1X2, 1 Glock, 1 C8.
Officers
Oh my God.
are armed with the Colt C8 as their primary weapon system, plus magazines. The Glock 17 Gen 5 is their secondary weapon system, magazines on the belt. A Taser X2 and battery pack, also wired up beneath the body armour to a camera on the head.
Okay, it was a camera. Wow, these guys are decked out. Holy crap. Once again, I feel like this is how people imagine American police are like. Now, this is the secret police in the UK.
They also carry baton, handcuffs and incapacitant spray like the regular police force.
All armed officers carry an array of equipment which provides them with various options from their voice and their own demeanour and their way of negotiating with a person. That's one way of diffusing a situation, right up to the other end of the scale, which is the recourse to lethal force.
Stay where you are. Police officer, a taser. You've got 50,000 volts pointing right at you. You've got 2 red dots on your chest. Look at them now. Do not make any sudden movement. Okay, mate. Look at your chest. See the 2 red dots.
We're civilian police officers. You know, we're not above the law.
I like that intimidation tactic. You've got 2 red dots on your chest, just so you know. You got 2 red dots on your chest. I think you know what that means. So stop moving.
We're working under the Queen's peace, not in a war zone.
Former Navy man Russ is a firearms instructor. Today, he's playing the role of an armed subject, which he says is essential for instructors to see close up where students go wrong. Although
So is this kind of analogous to like the SWAT team in America?
there are similarities with his previous military career, there are also distinct differences.
When I was serving in the armed forces, we had rules of engagement cards that basically said what you could and couldn't do, when you could shoot and when you couldn't. When I joined the MDP, the decision to fire or not was down to the police officer on the ground. And if you can imagine the police officer, whether they decide to shoot or not in that split second, will be poured over by a court or whatever for however long it takes. If we think it's necessary to fire a shot, we fire one shot, we reassess. If the threat's still there and the shot's still justified, have a follow-up shot.
That's quite fascinating. That is a very key difference between American police and what's going on here. In America, the police are trained basically once you've shot, you've already determined the threat needs to be neutralized, and you've already taken that step where it's like you're basically shooting to kill. And so it's not just one shot and then reassess. It's shoot until you're sure the job is done. Basically, that's basically how it is. That is how it is here in America. So that's really interesting. These secret police take one shot, reassess. Now I'm sure that reassessment happens real quick. Sometimes, you don't need long to reassess in some situations. But it's still an interesting distinction. Very interesting.
In the room! Come to the door!
As soon as the threat is neutralised, and we're happy that everyone's safe, the threat no longer exists, then we become the carers.
So the next tactic we're going to show you is a 2-vehicle contain and call out. We've got one subject vehicle, a white van, with one white subject inside. He's been known to carrying firearms. We're going to do our best to stop that vehicle, contain it with the police vehicles, and then try and talk him out of the vehicle.
It's sort of interesting because he just said, in this simulation, the guy is carrying firearms. And it's like, here in America, that would be half the cars driving around, Maybe not half, but probably, a quarter of every car probably driving around, give or take, depending where you are, has a firearm in it. But here in the UK, that's unusual for a suspect to have firearms. So the police don't always need to have firearms.
What's actually going to happen, he's a very, very angry white male in that van. He's going to get out, point a gun at our subject.
He says he's a very, very angry white male.
Going to happen, he's a very, very angry white male in that van.
I don't know why that was funny. He's a very angry white male.
He's going to get out, point a gun at our subject, our officers, and they are going to hopefully use some form of force to stop that. If it all goes correctly, this should be a shoot scenario, and then we'll go on to a bit of first aid afterwards.
Oh, please show me your hand! Back off! Back off! Down now! Stay up! Shots fired! Shots fired! Okay, what we got on that wound?
Damn.
Yeah, got gunshot wound to the upper chest.
We get an ambulance coming.
If we turn up and we use excess force, we fall sort of one side. If we don't use enough force and somebody gets shot or seriously injured, then we'd be criticised either way. So we really do walk that knife edge.
Exercise, command.
Contact! Front!
Get back.
We're looking after infrastructure that, if in the wrong hands of the wrong people, could be detrimental to the world.
If you can imagine atomic weapons establishments, Clyde submarine bases are policed by armed MOD police officers. If they were compromised, that would affect the whole, the national security of the UK.
Yeah.
So, it's critical.
I love this stuff. That is so interesting. It's so cool to see, especially in some ways, even though the regular police in the UK don't even have guns, the other arms of like the defense are really extreme, like very intense. More so than in some ways in America, in some ways, like it's just interesting to see. These guys are no joke, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't mess with them. I'm curious. That makes me think like that little simulation they just ran through right here. This is like an everyday thing in America. Literally, this is an everyday thing. Curious how regular this happens where a civilian where there's a police shootout with a civilian who's armed. happens in the UK. It's got to be way more rare. Well, that was extremely interesting. Thank you, Albert, for sending that in. Thank you for watching. And thank you for Forces News. Go check them out, link down below. It's a good video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope. Subscribe if you feel like it. Goodbye.